It was the scam of the century, and it happened around the 1980s, when all the women were told the reason they were unhappy is they had a chemical imbalance. And they only had to answer a few questions. Do you feel worthless? Things like that. And they handed them SRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antidepressants, or for anxiety, Benzos, handing them out like candy. It was so easy to get them. And it's women, like 15% of women are on these pills. I call them happy pills. Women think they're happy pills, and they're extremely destructive and very hard to taper off of. And they cause incredible things like pacing and you can't see screens anymore, and just full-blown anxiety, and on and on. The symptoms are infinite. Now, these things are unreported because Big Pharma is the richest thing on earth. And they pay the head guys at Harvard or all these to be pro-pills. So people cite these guys, well, Dr. so-and-so at Harvard said this. And he is into the big bucks from Big Pharma. They wine and dine these professors to be pro-pills. And it is ridiculous. Women are unhappy for so many reasons, but the implication is they have brain damage and they need to go on these pills. I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. It's an easy fix for unhappy people. And you already know why they're unhappy, because of obstructions. You have a chemical imbalance. Everybody suddenly had a chemical imbalance, and this pill will fix it. And there was no testing. It's just a few questions, and the doctor says, well, you have a depression. You have a clinical depression. Sounds so scientific. And there's no backing for it at all. And it's so easy to get them, and it causes such devastation. When I was in my 20s, I was an up-and-coming lecturer at University of California. I had an unhappy ending to a relationship, and I was depressed. There was a reason for depression. These pills are given to people where there's no reason for it. It's a brain injury or something like that. No, I had a relationship sadness. They put me on these pills, SRIs, antidepressants, and also Benzos later for anxiety. And my life ended. My face became like a moon. It was so bloated up. I would do nothing but pace. I couldn't sleep for 30 days. No kidding, not at all. My whole personality changed. My whole reality changed. It was a nightmare. This went on. One morning I woke up in my pajamas. I was living in Orange County, and I had the notion to drive down to Tijuana for some reason. Have no idea why. It was just an urgent thing. I got all the way down there. I was still in my pajamas, and the border official called my mother, and she came to get me, and she says, what are you doing down there? I have no idea. Strange things like that. Even homicide, or often suicide, is reported, but it's not reported enough because these big pharma pills are bloated up as the thing to do, and the horrible nightmares that happen on them are not reported. It's an easy fix for unhappy women. Twice as many women take them as men. Here's some statistics. 15% of women are on antidepressants. From age 40 to 59, 1 in 5 women. Over 60, 1 in 4. From age 18 to 39, 1 in 10. Women are double to men. It is so prevalent. They're all on it. And if you tell them against it, they get real defensive. Like people who have tattoos. If you put down tattoos, they get real defensive. They won't even listen to it. RFK Jr. is looking into this. It's a scam. And oh, they hate him because of his alignment with Trump. But somebody's got to. It's ruining lives. I was an up-and-coming lecturer. I was written up in the LA Times. I was age 27. I lost all creativity. I lost all audacity and gumption. And my whole lecture career folded. I couldn't even talk. I got up in front of a class, couldn't even express myself, had no ideas at all, couldn't answer questions, was a total zombie. It ended my life there. It ended my career. It ended my relationships, ended my family relationships, ended finances. It was just the beginning of like a 2-year dark chapter in my life. So I know all about this. It's a corruption of science and a betrayal of patients. And they bribe these academics. They fly them all around, they party them, they wine and dine them, they give them so much money. They have these clinical studies that they participate in, and they make so much money, it makes their resume real fat, and they get tenure for going with Big Pharma. They buy them off. My father owned a drug company, La Mesa Drug Company, so it's peculiar that I would have this experience. And my brother-in-law was a biochemist for a major big drug company, and they just absolutely wined and dined him. He made so much money. So I'm aware of this. And it's like the biggest money thing in academic. If you don't stand behind Big Pharma and propound them and advance these false theories, you're kicked out. If you question it, you are kicked out. You have to go with Big Pharma to make it in academics. Here are some of the questions you are asked before they hand you these pills like candy, and they are so dangerous. If you answer yes to 5 of these very general questions, you'll be getting the pills. Do you have a depressed mood? Do you have diminished interest? Do you have psychomotor retardation or agitation? Do you have diminished concentration? Do you have weight change? Do you have thoughts of death? Do you have insomnia or hypersomnia, sleeping too much? Do you feel worthless? Do you have fatigue or loss of energy? Well, who doesn't have these things once in a while? And if you do have them, write a recipe. Why is it? There's all kinds of reasons that would cause these things other than a brain problem. You know, something's wrong with your brain. You have a chemical imbalance. No, it has nothing to do with that. But they say, okay, you answer 5 of these, you get the pills. You have a chemical imbalance, you have clinical depression, scientific name. And there they go. There starts the end of their life. They are no longer a cute wife. They are now sort of a zombie. You know, everything changes. I'll never forget it. I'm a very creative person, very energetic. I get up in the middle of the night. I exist on a couple cat naps a day. I'm really a happy person. But when I was on those things, it was a nightmare. I felt like I was in hell. There were so many things that changed in the body and my perception of the world. And if somebody's married to somebody who goes on these pills, they have a different wife they're married to. Doctor says, you have depression, as if that explains why you're depressed. You have a brain disorder. I remember my sister in the 80s saying to my mother, I have a chemical imbalance. All the women were saying that, I have a chemical imbalance. You know, taking a pill is so easy. A daughter of a pharmacist, I am. I understand that. People, it's just so easy to take a pill. That's not the answer. You're unhappy because of you're in a bad relationship, you're in sin or some kind of a bad habit, or you're eating wrong, or you're depressed because you drink too much, or drug or something like that. But those questions are never asked by doctors. It's just, you answer these 5 questions, here are the pills. It's irresponsible. It's corrupted science. And it's so unfair to patients. They provide the medications, then they move on. They never ask probing questions about their relationships, about their career, about their goals, about other unhappy things. Never. It's just, this is the protocol, now let's move on. And if she has problems on the pills and comes back to the doctor, he says, well, it's because of your brain disorder that you're feeling this. Brain disorder? You mean 15% of women in America have a brain disorder? 1 in 4 over 60? 1 in 5 over 40? 1 in 10 in their 20s and 30s have brain disorder? Come on, give me a break. Work, career, relationships. These bring anxiety and depression. Other than that, past trauma. It's really hard dealing with past trauma. If we have something horrible happen, if we just don't move on, it takes years to digest past trauma. Of course you're depressed. If you probe a little, you'd say, well, of course you're depressed because of this and this and this. That makes sense. You don't have a brain disorder. You don't have a chemical imbalance. You're just chirping the line. That's the line. I've heard millions of women say that I have a chemical imbalance, so I've got to take this. I can't believe how naive they are. Selling antidepressants is a big business. They don't want any of your questions, and they don't want anybody questioning this. It can change your whole personality, and yes, it does make some people homicidal. That's what brings the brain disorder, are these pills. You didn't have it before then. What a scam! What a dangerous scam! It's unbelievable, really. Once you start to investigate this thing, I dare you to. If you're on these pills, start to investigate it, and you're going to have a heck of a time getting off of it. I had a really hard time coming off of chemicals. It wasn't that, it was the cannabis and theobromine in chocolate and caffeine. These were really minor things, and even those, shaking and sweating for days. I had to go on Ativan just to get off of that. Then I had to taper off of Ativan. It was really hard and really scary. But those were minor compared to these chemicals that women are taking. So dangerous. Is it any wonder half of marriages end in divorce? Because the woman he married has become a totally different person. Woman says, I've got clinical depression. She tells her family, she announces to her family, I've got clinical depression. I have an identity now. I have a chemical imbalance. No brain scans are ever taken, just simple questions. Because it's a big business to hand out these pills. And totally irresponsible of you doctors. Most depression is just a rational response to what's going on. I mean, life is tough. You know, when you're young, if you have a really nice childhood, that's fine. But then you enter a tough world. You go off to war, you go off to the military, you go to a liberal college where people are crazy. Crazy notions they come up with, that women are men and men are women and all these things. And, we should have open borders, let the whole world in, unvetted. Everything has changed in our cities. They're filled with crime. Life is tough. We have reason to be depressed. But you don't go on easy fixes, and they don't fix you. They are not self-fixes. They are dangerous drugs intended to make big pharma even more money than they have. So look at the reason for depression, what I call obstruction. People, habit, which is sin, or food or other substances going in. That's what's causing your depression. You don't have a brain disorder and you don't have a chemical imbalance. But you will once you start to take those pills. So the woman starts to investigate why she's depressed. And then she says, shoot, I'm just in the wrong relationship. You know, I'd be 1,000 times happier rid of this jerk who's mooching off of me and driving me crazy. But they never think about that. Oh, I got a chemical imbalance. What a scam of the century. From doctors we should trust. They took the Hippocratic Oath, but they've been bought off. And if they question these things, they're laughed off. Instead of lifestyle changes, which isn't always easy, they want a drug that numbs the brain. I felt numb. My family would call me when I was in Orange County going to school, and all I could say was, yes, no. And my sister says, Karen, what is wrong with you? I'd say, I don't know. Yes, no. Nothing going on in the brain. They numb you. They make you into a zombie. My life ended. Everything ended. Career ends. Everything. Now, women who are in the husband's out working, you know, maybe they can hide it. But they're in the home, you know, numbed down, not doing anything. And some of them become vulgar. I mean, they lose their boundaries. They lose their lines of decency because everything has changed. They start to mimic culture. Mimic culture has become dirty. They start to go along with trends that are ridiculous. Really ridiculous because they're on anti-Ds. The doctor or the psychiatrist never addresses the underlying problem. Here's the pills. You know, never asking questions or helping the patient to interpret their symptoms. They don't get into that. You know, even her over asking or saying, why am I having these things? Why am I pacing around? Why can't I sleep? Because you have a disorder. It's a disaster. This is a disaster. I can't state it enough. So her girlfriends tell her, oh, go get antidepressants. They're happy pills. You know, you seem unhappy. Well, get some happy pills. And the doctor says, do you have a depressed mood? Oh, yes, I have a depressed mood. Do you have diminished interest where things used to be fascinating? Oh, yeah. Do you have a psychomotor agitation or retardation? Yeah, I'm slower than I used to be. Do you have diminished concentration? Yeah, I just can't concentrate. Like I used to read books and now I'm just not interested. Do you have weight change? Yeah, I've gained a lot of weight. Yeah. Do you have thoughts of death? Oh yeah, I think of that all the time. I'm unhappy in my marriage. Do you have insomnia or hypersomnia? Do you sleep too much? Yeah, I love to sleep. I sleep all day. I'm bored to death. Do you feel worthless? Yeah, I did. I had goals in college and I've just given them all up. Do you have fatigue or loss of energy? Oh yeah, I just drag. Okay, man, she's answered affirmative to all of them. And all you need to do is answer 5 of these and you get the pills. This is the scam of the century.